I am Iron Man.
Hello there.
Avengers!
Okay, all right. Welcome to episode 33 of Stars in Marvel. This episode we're breaking down episode 8, the finale, season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Like and subscribe. I'm just gonna do it right now,
Yeah.
real quick.
Throw
Done.
it up there. Done.
It's out there. If you like, you take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Been a little quiet on the old Western Front with subscribers. So if we could, like we said, if we hit 50, we'll do a Amazon gift card thing. And hey, there's some new pops coming out. So if we've got any pop people out there, use that to get some pops. Yeah.
That Mandalorian box, I think it was a GameStop exclusive.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet set.
Pretty sweet. I mean, it's what, like a 2 mystery, like 2 of the 4 pops. Like,
I didn't know. I didn't. Full disclosure, I saw the picture and did not read a thing.
That's why I clicked on it. And I was like, it's like $34 for 4 pops. Seems a little
Extremely low.
Yeah,
okay, so see now I'm out.
But,
I mean,
but still, I mean, the 4 choices
pops.
are pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with any of them. So
the Mando one has him holding the Darksaber, which, as far as I know, there's only one of that ever exists before. It was an exclusive somewhere else.
It is on Amazon right now. That one of him holding the Darksaber.
How much is it?
$25.
See, that's not for an exclusive you missed when it released.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen a lot that go for like $80. Like an exclusive that is discontinued.
And honestly, I just got the Spider-Punk from Across the Spider-Verse. And don't, before you judge me, viewer, for getting a pop for a movie that hasn't come out yet, first of all, it's Spider-Man. And second of all, it's the only character I've ever cosplayed as ever. So yeah, I bought the pop before the movie came out.
I mean, hey, they released them beforehand for a reason. So
for me, I didn't even get to the whole point. The point of me bringing that up is that was an exclusive on Funko's website, and after shipping and all, that total got up to 25. I was like, God damn! All right, like,
yeah,
that's a new, like, still available. All right, jeez,
yeah.
I got to tell you, we're going through. I don't know. This is at least my second, if not third, Funko crisis where I'm like, gotta start pumping the brakes on these things. Again, it's happened before, so we'll see how long that lasts. But
I know I go in and out of waves sometimes where I'll be like, oh, this one looks really cool. Oh, this one looks really cool. And then they start coming out with like just ones I don't like, musicians or like, TV shows I don't know about. I'm like, all right, I'll wait till the Star Wars or new Marvel ones come out.
That's like, they just released a Michael Jackson one of him doing the lean. And I'm
really?
like, that's cool, but like,
who? Yeah, like,
I don't want to pop him, Matt. Like,
I know, like I see the Blink-182 one, and I'm like, that's awesome. I love Blink-182, but I don't know. Like half the ones up here.
You made me real, because I have a lot. I have all the Blink-182 ones. So that's the Michael Jackson diehards. You see the lean, you're gonna be like, gotta get it.
I can't say anything because I have Tommy Boy and Hellboy. I don't even like Hellboy. I don't even know why I have Hellboy, but yeah. I mean, I love Tommy Boy. Don't get me wrong. Chris Farley's amazing, but I really didn't need a pop of it. 2 pops.
I still
of it,
like on that same row. I just love the BoJack with the Bob's Burgers. Like, it's just it's your classic, like, adult cartoon, like,
classic adult.
Gotta get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I'm not even that big of a fan of BoJack Horseman. I don't know. I just got into like oh, that one looks cool. Oh, that one looks cool. Which they're not even, the BoJack one's just, I don't know, just BoJack. But bit of a pop tangent. But what
Hey, it started with Mandalorian.
What do you expect with a bunch of pop heads? But Mandalorian episode 8. We had briefly texted about it.
Yes, we did.
And my words were, Favreau and Filoni, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And I still kind of feel that way.
I
I'm
agree.
bouncing back and forth. I'm bouncing back and forth because there were good points to this. There were good things in this episode, but there were also a lot of letdowns. A lot of things that could have gone a different way, but they kind of just let it go. It seems like. But
My response was a Simpsons quote, and it's an episode where they're doing a Ratatouille bit, and the Simpsons home is invaded by rats, and the rat is on Homer's head making, and he's like, "Oh, look at me! He's doing a delicious little chef's meal, and I'm making this thing, and blah blah blah." Right? And so Homer he finishes, and the rat's still on his head, and then Homer eats it. He's like, it's good but not great.
great.
I'll go get the rat poison." And that's good but not great. Just sums it up, man. Like
Yeah.
it I I definitely think episode 7 was a better episode. Like if we're
Yeah.
just talking episodes back to
Yeah.
back, episode 7 was great because it was we talked about even too, it didn't follow the Disney Plus formula. Usually the penultimate episode of the Disney Plus show is all talk, no action.
Yep.
Episode 7 was a perfect combination of action and conversation and story and plot, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
This episode had some of the best action we've seen. Like it was awesome. Don't
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
like action was great,
not
but the
what.
plot
Yeah.
itself was
It just
nothing.
kind of fell through.
Like the cliffhanger of episode 7 was basically not lived up to in episode 8. And I'm not even talking. We even texted about, and this like I we'll definitely touch on today, future, whatever. But like, I think this season we as fans overhyped because we haven't had the show in so long. Which like I don't think that's bad. I think we were so excited for it, we overhyped it, and then it didn't live up to certain expectations. Which is that happens. That's how hype. That's unfortunately what happens with hype sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm strictly talking about from 7 to 8. Like the ending of 7 was just so good.
Mm.
And I just don't think anything that they did in 8 ended up.
And yeah, it didn't translate over from 7.
It just wasn't enough. And like as we get into our recap of the episode itself, like, and we'll get fully into spoilers, I think it's because you can write off so many of the things that happen. Mm-hmm. So many of the things are like, okay, like that's probably going to come back, or like that doesn't matter, kind of a thing.
And there were a lot of things that they were setting up but never played out. Like
and then like
it was
like
just,
that,
it was,
like
it was annoying.
Things that didn't like pan out, like even that, like so we talked about, like, because they have the ship, that the Night Owls were hired by Moff Gideon to go and spring him from jail, right? Or from right, but they never actually talk about that, right?
Yeah,
like that never came up. Like it's just assumed.
Just happy, yeah.
Like that, like no one wanted to have the conversation with Axe that, like, hey, did you really think it was a good idea to do this? Like, like that just felt like it was a missing conversation from the show. And then, there was something else that was really bothering me that they teased and didn't. I don't know. There's the Darksaber as a whole, in my opinion, did not
huge letdown. Just didn't make any sense. Just didn't. Yeah.
See, I think it made sense, but I think it was the most plain way to do it possible, and I'll say why.
Yeah.
It was okay. Like if the episode was good, not great, what happened with the Darksaber was okay. Like not a high point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but what I want to dive into is spoiler things. Yeah, so we can start doing recap and then
I think I'll say this. I don't really know how season 1 holds up. I could not tell you the last time I watched season 1.
Yeah. I think I watched it once and that was it.
Season 3 definitely is not better than season 2. Like that's just
what they missed out in this season, like from the season 1, season 2, was the space western feel of season 1 and season 2, where Din and Grogu were going out doing odd jobs, helping people and doing this and that, and then it turned into, all right, now we're gonna expand the universe. It's like, okay, great, expand the universe, but explain the universe first, because there's casual viewers who haven't watched Rebels or Clone Wars that don't understand who Bo-Katan is and why she wants to reclaim Mandalore, and her past with Mandalore and all that, and with the dark saber, and so there was a lot of confusion with just casual Star Wars fans who haven't watched the animation that are like, all right, well, why does this woman want to reclaim Mandalore, and why do these two factions fight? I thought they're all Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like, it just,
Yeah.
they didn't do a good job explaining that.
Yes, I agree. I think that stuff, the stuff that was, deeply explained in Clone Wars and Rebels, was one or two sentence one-offs in the Mandalorian, and they couldn't be left at that. Like,
Yeah.
we joked about it all season. Like, if you didn't watch Clone Wars, if you didn't watch Rebels, I don't understand how you're watching the show. But like, in all seriousness, like, they gave you like the minimum credentials possible to watch without watching those two cartoons.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And like, the one line that could have helped not save the season, but that could have helped a lot of people that didn't understand, was in episode 7 when Moff Gideon's talking to evil New Republic woman, the lady that brain
the spy bitch that we
yeah. Alaya, whatever her name is.
Like, if I limit my swearing in an episode, I feel fully justified in calling her the spy bitch. Because I mean, talk about things that don't pan out. She wasn't even in the finale.
Yeah,
none of that made it.
No, none of that. She did not have an impact in that. Yeah,
we had a full episode of her just for that moment in episode 7.
Yep, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, that was annoying. But when Moff and her are talking, and she's like, "Oh, the Mandalorians destroyed the pirates or whatever, destroyed the pirate ship," and he was like, "What do you mean the Mandalorians destroyed the pirate ships? Those two factions hate each other." And it's like, that's what you needed in the first episode is, hey, these two factions hate each other. Because a lot of people, like I was seeing online, they're like, why don't they like each other? Why aren't they fighting? It's because they hate each other, because they don't agree in the same, they don't believe in the same, they just needed to explain that, like, hey, these two factions, they hate each other. And
they kind of, again, in episode 7, you don't really get explanation as to why. You just know there is that hatred. Like Axe and Paz Vizsla go at it, and you just know that these two factions don't get along, but you just don't get why. They don't mesh. And it just, that never panned out. And I think the other thing I was trying to think of was the pirates, dude. The end of the pirate storyline was that same cutscene where she's like, "Oh, the pirates lost." It's like, that's it. We don't get any more.
All we get. Yeah.
I'm not even talking about a Hondo cameo. Like as funny or great or whatever that would have been. Yeah. I'm talking like the end of the pirates was just, that's it.
Which we could get a Hondo appearance in the Skeleton Crew, the other, like, that one show that's coming out, or movie, whatever it is. Because that pirate show, that pirate at the end, like the one that was on Navarro that was given Apollo Creed grief, like, this used to be a bar, blah, blah, blah. He darted off and did his own thing. Like, he didn't die.
He darted off into the Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna be in that show apparently.
Oh, see,
he's gonna be like a bad guy in the show.
I made the joke. I don't like that. That's actually what just happened. Like that's the Loki in Endgame, right? Like, where did Loki just go? Well, he's
getting his own show,
into his spin-off show. Like, don't like, that was funny with Endgame, the movie that was the end of 10 years, 20 movies, whatever. Like, I don't care about this pirate flying off into a spin-off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just talk about the episode. Let's
dive in.
All right, so again, it's going to start off with action, and it's great action.
Starts out immediately with a lot of
Din versus Moff, right? That's the first scene, I think, is just them duking it out.
Well, no, Din's captured.
Right. Well, oh shoot, I forgot he's got to break out. And, my god, I'm fast forwarding through all that stuff.
He's which they only put, shows how cocky Moff Gideon is. He only puts 2 guards with him.
I know. I know.
he's a trained Mandalorian, basically an assassin. You know what I mean? Like,
Basically the bane of his existence right now. Like
yeah. And you put
I
two stormtroopers with him, like very well known, horrible fighters.
I did I do want to say this episode, great Din Djarin episode. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
he's
I mean,
great in the
redeemed himself.
action.
Yeah. Redeemed
He's
him, redeemed the character for this season as far as action and all that. Yeah.
yeah, although yeah, some other stuff later, but
Yeah. Yeah.
like Din breaking out, like it was awesome. Like that was, I think that Grogu helps as IG-12 and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Like, isn't that? Yep, he sneaks down there and yes, no, whatever, and
Hmm.
gets him out of there. No, yeah, like oh, and then we get into is that when we get followed by the Darth Maul red laser
Yeah.
scenery
Hmm.
again? That's really cool.
That was, yeah.
The actual thing again, this is a classic Disney Plus finale with great action. It's
Mhm.
just, and all the money in the world is in it, and it's great. You got these Phantom Menace style Obi-Wan and Darth Maul laser shield things, and Din's getting his way through one by one with R5 breaking them down. Like it's awesome.
Those shields are so cool because there's nothing the other people can do on the other side. They just have to stand there and wait for him. Like it's not like they can deactivate it. They just have to stand like, all right.
I know. Especially the guys that are in like the middle set. Like
Yeah.
you got a shield on one side and a shield
And
on
a
the
shield,
other. It's like
yeah.
you're just absolutely screwed.
Well, that's what I was like. Why does he just push them into it? Like
That's like just drag it like or
Yeah.
it's like a Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3 with Sandman against the
Oh
subway.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, no, that's what I actually really liked. He didn't push him into it, but at one point he just started throwing him over the edge.
Yeah.
I
He
was
was
like,
like,
that's like
screw this. Yeah.
it's clever. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't have to outman them every time. He just has to be smarter than them.
Mhm.
And again, Din Djarin is good at action.
Yeah.
He is a good fighter.
Yeah, that was cool to see. And it was good to get more action out of Din because we really haven't seen him fight much this season.
No,
It's been
and
a
that's
lot
what,
more
like,
of him just talking.
it's been a lot of Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
And like we knew that the Mandalore story was going to be heavily around other people, but I don't know, man. It wasn't really
Yeah.
Din's story, and this
No.
episode kind of cements that.
They could have, yeah. I mean, the show is The Mandalorian, so like it makes sense that they do all the Mandalorian lore and reclaiming Mandalore in the show. But it also would have made possibly more sense to do a Bo-Katan show and
That's
almost like a Book of Boba Fett type thing, and that's
it's
her show to reclaim Mandalore and reclaim the
right.
dark saber. And
I also just think a lot happened in this season and this episode that just felt not forced but fast.
yeah,
Like we
now,
thought this season was going to be the Mandalorians united.
yeah,
Like that was it. Like they just needed to get along by the end
yeah,
of the season. Not spoiler to the end of the episode. Take it back and win it over. Like
well, like remember when we did our trailer recap, we were like, oh, this season's gonna be all Din trying to get back to the living waters. That happened in what, the second episode,
the
and then
second
never
episode.
talked about again. Like it was like
No, that was the first episode.
that was the first episode. Oh my god!
It
Yeah,
doesn't
like,
it end with the mythosaur in the first episode?
oh yeah. I think so.
Like, which also
Huge huge letdown. They could have.
like this yeah, it's tough. All right. So like they did the thing, and look, I don't have my recap list with me, so I don't have the perfect scene by scene shots of what happened. But I know that he go for it.
Yeah. They basically, he gets through all the guards. They get to he gets to like the cloning area and sees all of Moff Gideon's clones.
The clones,
which when they got in there, I was like, I'm pretty sure they're all Moff Gideon. And then it was like, oh, they are all Moff Gideon, which I was like, that's so cool. Like,
that was cool.
Cloning.
It was
so like that theory was right when he was like, and the best thing about it is they all have me in them. And I was like, oh shit, that theory was right. I don't take credit for that theory. That was Screen Crush. But
that was a really cool shot.
Yeah.
I also saw I forget if I don't know. I saw someone say they think that was an homage to The Force Unleashed 2, which has a very similar like reveal of the clones of the apprentice in that game, and it's like
Huh.
I really think if it was, I didn't notice it enough to say that, but I really think that if Filoni did this as an homage in any way to Force Unleashed, they keep referencing these games and they just won't make the character canon somehow.
I know.
Like
just bring
just put
in
him
Star
in
Killer.
something.
Just put him. He would be a perfect show. Perfect, like
make him the villain in the new Jedi Fallen Order games.
Right?
Like,
oh my god, that'd be perfect.
Something.
Yeah.
Bring him. If you're gonna reference him in Obi-Wan Kenobi and Mandalorian, which these aren't confirmed, but like they were pretty darn close.
Yeah. I mean, that stormtrooper scene in Obi-Wan was like right out of that trailer or that teaser. Like
we're basically we stopped tiptoeing is this homage, and we're now in if it's not an homage, then it's just straight up like plagiarism.
Yeah. Star Wars copying Star Wars. I mean, technically they could put it as that because Disney didn't have control of Star Wars at the point, so they could be copying. You know what I mean?
It's just using old Star Wars material. I just wish if you were going to do that, use the character in that game as well. Like,
which I
don't know. I'm still hoping he's in Ahsoka or something. To be honest, it's a long hope and a prayer. I doubt it. I feel like if he was cast in anything, that casting is going to be like just.
I feel like we'd have a better chance of seeing like Cal Kestis than him because I feel like he's so forgotten about right now, at least like by casual fans.
He absolutely, dude. That
because those games came out like 10 years ago or something like that, maybe even more.
Probably closer to 12 or 13 at this point.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude. All right, so we see the clones and. Grogu has like a moment with one of them, but then Din presses a self-destruct button and they all just blow up.
Yep.
And it's
kind
like
of
so nothing came from those.
Yep. That was a whole plot that is now ruined.
And is there anything else you want to talk about before we get to Din and Moff confronting?
I forget if this is before or after, but I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up real quick. So episode 7 was called The Spies. And everybody thought that either the Armorer or Axe Woves was going to be the spy.
Yep.
Neither are the spy. So who the fuck were the spies in that episode? And because Axe Woves saves the whole.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that was after because he crashed.
I'm okay with Armorer not being a spy because I do think it would not have made sense as the show went.
No, I think she wanted to. She saw the potential in Bo.
Was
like,
actually
you're the
She was actually let's save man. Like as a culture, as a planet, like she truly wanted that. Our which I think this was like our conversation, but like the only reason I was okay with it, but it was a pretty sweet like reason was if Moff Gideon was Death Watch. She was secretly Death Watch. Yeah. And that was like, she was just building an army to become Death Watch. Like I could see her being like,
would have been
have I steered you wrong?
Yeah.
Join me. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
And that would have been cool. But there was no spy. There was no spy.
Yeah. And then Axe Woves, who, clearly was not a huge fan of joining factions, and I don't know. It was just kind of like now everybody's all hunky dory cool together because Moff Gideon's a dick. Like,
and that's so. And then all right, so agreed. And so Moff and Mando start fighting, or before the fight is what I'm trying to get to, which is he yells at Din like, you destroyed my beautiful clones. They had the one thing I didn't have. It's the Force. They had metachlorians or whatever. I don't think he says metachlorians, but like. He was like, those were Force sensitive clones, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, a couple of things. A, why did they just blow up? Like, why did we just, like, it was that easy to kill them? Like,
he had a kill switch. Like,
he had a kill switch. Like, you're blaming him. But also, as soon as he mentions this, no matter what happened in this episode, which we know what happens, I knew that we've officially cloned Moff Gideon. Like he's gonna come back no matter what happens.
Yeah,
he's and I actually saw. So there's a lot of people that said that Din Djarin and Bo-Katan, who Bo-Katan, Din tries to fight Moff Gideon. They're having a cool fight. It actually is pretty sweet. And again, the fighting is really sweet. The thing that happens that I'm mad I didn't predict, and I didn't see anyone predict this.
Mm-hmm.
Grogu gets separated from Din, and the Imperial guards fight him one-on-one. And it's like,
yeah.
why didn't we predict that the Imperial guards would fight the Jedi? Like, duh. Like that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like seeing him like bounce around that like light fixture thing, like like he was like laughing doing it too. I'm like, like classic.
The Praetorian Guard fighting Grogu, just stealing the fact that Brendan knew it and I did not. Was just a cool thing, like a cool concept that I'm glad they did. Like I didn't predict it. I wish I had. It was very cool.
I'm also glad we got to see them again. I was hoping they weren't going to be a one and done scene.
I'll tell you what. After the way last episode went versus this episode, would not have been shocked if they didn't show up again.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely think it set them up to be in this episode, but like, would not have been surprised if they just
cut them out again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they are like the coolest non-Jedi fighters in, you know what I mean, in Star Wars, like in those shows and stuff.
I will say, so
other than like the Mandalorians, but
I saw someone say, and I guess I saw a recap or two that I didn't think of earlier, but like I saw someone say it bothered them that Din and Grogu, and Din joins Grogu at some point because Bo-Katan goes to fight Moff Gideon instead.
Yeah.
Like, so they split up. Someone was bothered by Din and by Mando and Grogu beating the guard.
Really?
And I was like, they were like, oh, well, because, like they're the best of the best, like you just said. And also, like, think of how long it took Rey and Kylo Ren to beat them, kind of a thing. Like, in the extent, like, they had to go through. And I'm like, I think at that point, you're being too much of a, like...
Yeah.
You're like, you're playing with your facts about Star Wars too much. Like,
but also, I would think that it would take Din less time. I mean, I know, like, the Praetorian are, like, the top, Imperial...
right
commandos, but like Din Djarin was a professional bounty hunter. You know what I mean? Like and Rey was just a new Jedi. You know what I mean? She wasn't like a Luke Skywalker or a brand new Jedi.
To your point, like to your point there, the Praetorian Guard, that could not have said that right. I'm just gonna keep saying the Guard. The Guard were Jedi, like trained for Jedi. Yeah. So like I could see them being better equipped to fight Kylo Ren and Rey as opposed to a bounty hunter like Din Djarin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't actually care. I just thought it was an interesting comment that I agree. I think it was you're overthinking it kind of
exactly. Thing. Yeah. And like Grogu's a Jedi, but he's not really trained in the Jedi way. You know what I mean? Like he was trained for a little bit with Luke, but like we don't know
the
how
force
long
pushing and pulling and flipping is about
it's about his extent of Jedi training. Yeah.
So Bo-Katan goes in there and fights Moff Gideon, and that's a pretty cool battle. You got the double-sided staff thing versus Bo-Katan's
very Grievous guard like resemblance of those like swingings.
I definitely think it was like the same kind of thing. Yeah, like the guard being able to fight Obi-Wan with like
those ones,
I forget how they get into the thing, but like during that fight, which is a cool fight, but Moff Gideon like catches her with the Darksaber and he snaps it in his hand,
crushes it.
And I think we got to talk about all this now. And it's so the rest of the episode goes on, and Bo-Katan is going to keep leading these people without the Darksaber.
Yeah,
and I think the point of this happening is that she doesn't need it to lead.
Yeah,
but what a lame ending to that story.
Yeah, what a dumb way to cap off a thing that was like the prize of Mandalore. Like, I mean, if you have this, you are the leader. Like,
I mean, we the first think about it. You hadn't even seen Clone Wars of Rebels yet, which I
No.
forget when Darksaber first appeared. It had to have been Clone Wars because Maul gets it. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But the first time we see the Darksaber in Mandalorian is the season 1 finale.
Yeah.
And it's like I remember that was a nerd out moment of like, oh my god, like they brought it into live action. And I remember I think I watched it with my dad. We either watched it together or we talked about it afterwards because he watches. And he was like, "Oh my god, he has a lightsaber." And I was like, "See," and I was like, "That's so cool." And that's why it worked too, because casuals were like, "He has a lightsaber."
Lightsaber, yeah.
That's cool. And then super nerds were like, "It's the dark saber." Like it worked either way.
And yeah, I remember I hadn't watched Clone Wars or Rebels when the first season came out, so I remember being super confused. Like, what a lightsaber? Like, it's got a lightsaber, like, and like a sword. It wasn't like a typical lightsaber. It's like a katana almost.
But like to have that cliffhanger end eventually, like
just
like, and again, like season 2. I thought it was good. You see it. He fights Din Djarin. He fights Mando with it. He's got the Beskar spear, which I actually thought that was going to come back at some point. I forget what happened to that thing. I mean, the Darksaber just didn't really get used.
No,
at all.
I mean, we saw more of it in Book of Boba Fett than we did this season.
Yeah, and in Book of Boba Fett, he just fails at using it.
Yeah.
Like, Din only tried using it in that fight against the machine, the not Grievous thing.
Yeah.
That had to have been episode 2. I think I was wrong earlier. I think that was the episode 2 cliffhanger. That's not important. But and then Bo-Katan used it last episode in this episode. Like,
yep. I mean, we did get a cool send-off scene before the crush. Like her flying with all the Mandalorians and igniting it in the air, like that was awesome. Like that.
I'm two sides on that one, because I agree. Bo-Katan's shot of her flying with the saber in front, like lead on, like that was amazing. However, the armor doing the same thing with her
with
stupid smithing tools is the lamest shit I've ever seen.
Pretty dumb, yeah.
Like, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about with this episode, though. Everything cool is overshadowed by something not bad, but just lame.
Dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I read, or not read, so I heard one of the breakdowns that I was listening to. They were like, it seems like they wrote an ending for this show and then wrote backwards.
Yeah, and
that's why all this like lame stuff keeps coming up, because they're like, oh, well, how do we fill that in? Oh, let's put this in. Or how do we fill this in? Oh, let's do this. Like
yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I just can't get over, like, I don't know how you have such an awesome battle between Moff Gideon and Bo-Katan with the saber and the spears, and he's in the Beskar armor. He's in the
Death Watch helmet, basically.
Death Watch armor, and that is never elaborated on. Like, you really like,
you put horns on the guy,
and they didn't talk about it. Like,
I was waiting that whole episode for him to like mention Maul, or for him to like mention the Death Watch or something, like, because like you put horns on him. Obviously, he's got him on there for a reason. Is that what you were talking about? Sorry, I don't.
Yes, okay. That's exactly. But like, sorry, I'm going to cut you off there, because
no, you're good.
What I was trying to get at, that is what I was saying. But what I was trying to say was, Moff Gideon really didn't talk this episode.
No,
and again, that's the whole, this episode lacked story, and we needed to know, why did he make the base on Mandalore? Was it truly out of spite? Why did he put horns on an helmet? Was he a Death Watch member? Was it just out of spite? Like, what is going on with this guy? And he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Axe drives the ship into the. Of course, and that's the thing. He didn't really die. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say. I was like,
no, he didn't die.
Pure Beskar. I'm pretty sure he's okay.
It's not even that.
Or
it's a clone.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a mustache.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Is people keep saying the mustache thing, which might be a clue. I might not. I don't know. the thing that makes me think he's a clone is he starts crybabying. You killed my clones, which again, you gotta kill switch. But he's like, you killed my
Yeah.
clones that were force sensitive. They were perfect in every way. And this could be bad writing, but in my opinion, if Moff Gideon had a way to give someone force, he was going to give it to not his clones, but himself.
Yeah. And
So
yeah, that was also the other thing. It was like, why wouldn't he have used it then? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, I agree. He's definitely going to come back.
Yeah.
It was that a clone that died? Was he could have actually died, and then his clone shows up with the force? Like that's, but he's going to come back.
Could be like a classic Rick and Morty thing where he keeps dying and injecting his subconscious into another, like, version of himself. So
yeah. But see, like if you do it to the extent that it's a bit, I find that enjoyable. Like,
yeah,
like if he died, like say Mandalorian season 4 happens and he dies every episode, that's funny.
that would be
like,
funny. Yeah,
that's a good bit.
yeah.
I just don't. Nothing about this. It didn't feel right.
Yeah. When I first saw him die, I was like, that's how they're gonna kill him off. I was like, really? He's gonna die in an explosion? Like that just didn't seem like. Yeah, I understand he blew up Mandalore, but like, it just didn't seem fitting. Like I was suspecting like him to get decapitated with the Darksaber or something cool. Like he just died in a fire. Like, and then I agree, I was like, oh well, it could be a clone, or he could, eventually, because he's probably got other clones. I highly doubt this was the only place where he had clones. Because
Din Djarin just happened to find his only 6 clones. Like, yeah, I don't believe it.
Crazy, Nazi-like motherfuckers definitely got, a gajillion other clones. Like,
yeah, he's got another clone. Look, dude, I don't. Feel free to tell me in the comments why Camino doesn't exist anymore, but I fully believe he has a Camino base. Like, go to where the clones were made, kind of a thing.
Yep. Speaking of Camino, I just finished season 1 of the Bad Batch.
That's right. Doesn't Camino?
Yep, they destroy Camino basically. Yeah,
but like, I mean,
they don't. No, nothing's ever destroyed in Star Wars. I mean, somehow Palpatine returns. So
somehow Palpatine returns, and they fly now. But that's like, oh god, it's just I agree. It was cinematic the way he went out in that explosion, but it was anticlimactic.
Yeah,
it can be both. And it can be a sweet shot of him, like arms out, like Jesus sacrifice kind of thing. No, Darth Vader, no. Like it can be a sweet looking shot, but just not really good enough.
Yeah, it would have been cooler if they didn't, if it wasn't like a big secret that he's gonna come back, or if he is coming back. Like it would have been cool if, like, while he was being like engulfed in flames, he was like, "I can never die," or something like that. Like,
oh like, my god, that would have made it 10 times better. Just because it's not the end. Like we're speculating it's not the end because it's shoot, Carl something, right? What's his last name?
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Nope. I'm sorry, sir, but nope.
Carlo.
Full respect. Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
it's Moff Gideon, and like, it's Disney, man. Like you just know he's not dead.
Yeah,
and so like
no one's ever dead anymore in major properties, because they can make so much more money off of the characters. Like selling toys, and like we know Grogu's never gonna die, because then they can't sell Grogu underwear and Grogu pajama pants and Grogu, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. And that's, look, so to kind of fast forward, I mean, feel free to interject, but like, so Gideon dies, Axe blows up a ship. Did he die? No, he's in the
no, he jumped out and jetpacked away.
That's it. Like, the only sacrifice was Paz Vizsla, which was a baller sacrifice.
Yeah,
but like, also, I didn't want to be this guy. But since we're doing it this episode, I'm going to be this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan, have you ever watched Lost?
No, I have not. You can spoil it. You can spoil it if you want. I'm never going to
do a Lost spoiler. So all you Lost fans, Nick, this is you, and I hope you listen to this and put this together. Paz Vizsla closes the door from the other side and stays on that side of the door. And it's like, you could have closed the door and got
gone the
through
other
the
side.
door on the other side, like, and joined them
He
on
didn't have
that side of
to.
the door. And
Yeah.
it's something that happens in Lost. And
Okay.
in Lost, there's a character, it's Charlie, and a ship is starting to flood, and the character decides to lock the hole because there's a door that he can close, and he does it from the other
Oh
side.
my god.
And it's
Yeah.
just like it was one of the funniest things. Well, beloved character of the show, and you're like, that's so sad and soul crushing. But then, like, the moment you think about it, you're like, what?
Why
Like,
didn't he just do it? Yeah, it was like, why didn't you just go on the other side? Yeah, that does make sense though. Like, why wouldn't he just? Why didn't Paz just go
and
with
so
Bo
like
and
that's
they close the blast shield and there you go? Like,
look, it was a cool sacrifice. It was an
yeah,
awesome fight. Like, sweet. He kills all those stormtroopers and just goes out from the guards.
yeah,
Like, it's a great sequence. But like, at the end of the day, that was the only sacrifice.
yeah. Not a great. Yeah,
Not great.
that was the only character that really died in the show. You know what I mean? Like,
And like, he's not
not
coming back.
no. But I'm
Yeah,
saying like
no, I
Moff
agree.
Gideon
Yeah,
died.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
It's there was just not really repercussions. There wasn't
no,
really like lasting effects. And like, so okay, to fast forward, they take back Mandalore.
yep.
They kick off the new empire, secret empire, whatever they're called. They kick him off. Mandalorians, they're doing the clangs. They're like, Mandalore, Mandalore, Mandalore.
Yeah.
Uh,
They
and
reignite the Great Forge or whatever it's called,
Forge,
and
yep.
she can make more
So
weapons
armor
and
is
hammers.
just super armor now.
Yep.
Bo-Katan is like the leader without the darks. And again, that is definitely supposed to be like, you don't need the dark side. I
Yeah.
think that just needed to be done better.
Yeah.
So what's with Mando and Baby Yoda? They are doing their own thing. They go to the Republic, sorry, the New Republic.
Well, before that happens, sorry to cut you off.
No, yeah, please. Like I said, I was fast forwarding to the end. I'm trying to like
Mando officially adopts Grogu,
oh.
and Grogu is now Din Grogu, Mandalorian apprentice, which I was confused because is Din Djarin's name Djarin and Din is like a Mandalorian name, or like maybe they use their surnames first, and
I would like to do maybe my favorite Rick and Morty quote. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you think I should go there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what if they stop me? Yes. And that's yes.
Yeah. I was really confused because I was like, well, they've always kind of made it seem like Din Djarin is his name because no other Mandalorian's name is Din, like at least that we know of. And I mean, unless maybe that's like a name they give outsiders, like non-Mandalorians.
I don't know, but remember, that's the Watch is all outsider foundlings. Like, they're all not blood Mandalorians.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
All
I didn't know that.
the
like all
all
the
of
children
the
of the
armorer's
Watch.
children are foundlings of some sort.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So none of them were blood. Only the Night Owls were blood Mandalorians.
Blood Mandalorians. Okay.
As far as I know.
Yeah, but no, it just didn't. I was just kind of like, okay. But yeah, like, so that
I
was
took
kind
it
of
more
a
as
weird
like
ending.
like how in high school people called each other by their last names. Some people still do that as adults.
Yeah.
I think that's more or less what it was. It was like, I mean, to answer your question again, I do think they're implying that Din was the last name.
Okay.
Yes. Which I also think, there's Asian culture, Chinese, Japanese, something like that does that, like their last names first.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
which
I think it's Japanese
for Star Wars being a samurai Western bullshit mix
makes sense.
Like that.
Yeah.
And
what was I gonna say? That's what it was. And they made it like such a big deal that Din Djarin's now adopting Grogu. It's like, well, hasn't he always kind of been his son? Like, Bo-Katan literally just said, "Go get your son," like during the fight, and like people have said, "Oh, your dad." It's like, hasn't he always basically been his adopted son?
I'm so glad you said that, because I wasn't going to talk about this at all, because I thought that was stupid as fuck.
Yeah,
because I was sitting there and I'm like, he's been his son He's been his
this whole
son
time.
this whole time.
Yeah, like he's been a father figure to Grogu this whole
I,
time
I, I guess,
since he got him from Werner Herzog. Like,
and you know what might take away from this. So at the end of season 2, when he gives him up to Luke, right? He wasn't his son. He was, his mission,
bounty. Yeah,
right. Uh, but I think that's it. That is it. Like I'm kind of thinking it through right here for you right now. Like it is. He was his son the moment he went back for Grogu.
Yeah,
in Boba Fett.
Yeah, and the second I almost felt like the second he gave him that, because didn't give him the chainmail.
Yeah,
or was that the?
This is the other thing I've been waiting to talk about. Yes. So Din gave him the chainmail in Boba Fett, and he.
Okay. Oh, that was in Boba Fett. Okay.
It was in Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But again, like these things were so critical. Like that moment in Boba Fett is the moment where I was like, oh, that is his son. Like it is not his bounty. It's not his mission. It's not. I just care for the child. This is my child at that point. So that's what when you're talking like in this finale, they're like, you are officially adopted. I was like,
I mean, already has been basically.
Thanks, I guess. Like he's already been training with the Mandalorians too. Like this isn't the first time
exactly.
we've seen him. Like
like he was already like considered a foundling. Like
he was. And to that point, something else that you mentioned that I remembered I wanted to talk about that this episode lacked severely was the chainmail, which she makes him the breastplate for Grogu.
Yeah, that never came back into play.
Never panned out.
Yeah,
nothing happened from that.
I forget what one of the breakdowns I was watching. They gave like a scenario where that could have come back into play. I forget, but yeah, like they never brought that back into play at all. Like he never got like not stabbed, but like shot or something.
That was like the most like I don't want to say letdown. It was just like a WTF. Like they showed
had
you
no meaning.
They showed you a Beskar plate on Grogu. He's gonna get shot at some point.
Yeah,
that's what that means. But it didn't happen.
No, and it would have made so much sense because I completely forgot about that. And like if Grogu got shot, I would be like, oh my god, he's dead. Like he's gone. He's dead.
Right. And we just established he can't die, but that's a way to keep him alive and have that moment.
Yeah. Like that's a way to be like, holy shit! They just I know that just pissed me off. Realizing that like they had a moment because that was what episode 2, 3 maybe.
That's what I think it was 3 was when he gets the. So he's had the chainmail since Boba Fett, but like he got the breastplate,
the chest plate thing. Yeah,
he got that in like episode 3.
So like that was a while ago that I completely forgot about that because it was never brought up again. So yeah, that would have made so much sense if they had like one of the like if he was fighting the Praetorian guards and like one of the stormtroopers get like popped him with a bullet or whatever. Or
I even
stabbed or something. I don't know.
When he actually, I don't think we talked about this, but I did have this thought. Call me a liar. I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. But I actually remember when he jumped into IG-11 and starts, using him as the vessel or whatever they call him.
Yeah.
Like I remember thinking like, okay, that's how he's going to get shot. IG-11 is going to get shot. He's going to like fly down to the ground, and then you're going to show Grogu waddles out in his little Beskar showing, like something like that, which would have been
never happened. Yeah, but lazy writing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is and so he's officially his child.
Yeah,
they go to the New Republic where Filoni is sitting in the background in his cowboy hat, which good for you, Filoni. Still look great.
Okay. Give it up. No goofy director needs not every goofy director needs a look.
Brendan is bitter, and I love it. But
stop putting yourself in scenes, directors. It's getting distracting. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, does anything happen in this scene? Like
he kind of like they set up he's going to be a bounty hunter for the New Republic.
So that's what to match these two scenes together. He says he's going to be a bounty hunter for the New Republic at pay permission or whatever.
Yep.
He's not going to be an actual New Republic pilot, but then I'm also skipping a scene, but I don't care. and the end it ends with him and Grogu like just chilling on his house
Yeah.
house on their yard, and like the whole point I'm trying to get to is it sets up two possible things. One of which is classic season 1 Mandalorian, where
Yeah.
he's gonna go bounty hunting, and that's
Catching
what
them
people want.
Imperials. Yeah. Which would be
Like
cool. I'd be
that,
totally down for that. Him each episode going after a different Imperial or like a spice runner or something like that, like
some
different.
kind of evil target, like
Yeah.
overall evil, like like an actual bad guy.
Yeah.
But and you and I texted about this. This is the most series finale feeling thing of all time.
Yeah.
Is Grogu playing in the pond in the front yard and Mandalorian with his arms crossed. They do the pan. Like,
yep.
I think this could be the last we see of Mando.
I mean,
not forever, but like as the host of the show.
Yeah, I mean, Pedro Pascal has been in talks of leaving The Mandalorian, so
and this was the only season we didn't see him under the helmet.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, it could have been a stand-in, and he just did the lines ADR type thing.
Yeah. It's first. I think that's sad. I think he is a very enjoyable character. And,
yeah.
I mean, we joked about this either our last podcast or 2 podcasts ago. When Mandalorian was announced and it wasn't Boba Fett, we're like, this is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Yeah. Now I can't picture this show without
him. Yeah, if they had it as Boba Fett, it wouldn't have been as great. Like, can you imagine Boba Fett being Grogu's dad? Like, that would have been weird. Like,
no, and that's like I don't know where Mandalorian season 4 goes. If it maybe it focuses on Bo-Katan or Armor or someone else that is just a new character. But I just don't. I think I could see more. So like you talked about, so Din Djarin is going to be like a bounty hunter for the New Republic now. So I could see him showing up in like Skeletal Crew in an episode or two. Like things like that. Like he pops in to be like, hey, it's me. It's Pedro Pascal. Hey, it's Baby Yoda.
Like, all right, we're going.
Yeah. Like
go get this space Nazi.
It just feels like we kind of rushed into an ending that was good, but wasn't really what I had wanted.
It wasn't what they had set it up to be. There was just so many plot holes there was just so many plot points that were just left in the air.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was before season 3, I don't know if it was during season 3, but I definitely didn't make it up. I read time and again, 4 to 5 seasons of Mandalore promise, 4 to 5 seasons of Mandalorian ended work, blah, 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 blah. And right now, it is silent. There is no one saying season 4 is being made at all.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably facing a lot of backlash from Disney execs right now. Like, yo, season 3 wasn't what the fans expected. What do you guys got? Like,
I just don't even like it's. And you know what else? Like another thing that goes into more of the season as a whole and like the shows as a whole, but like with the announcement of the movie going to be the conclusion of these shows, this unnamed movie, like it kind of feels like we have to just kind of wrap this up. Like this movie can't be made in 15 years.
No.
Like it's got to be made in the next, I don't know, 4? Like
maybe.
So everything else is gonna wrap up quick. Like Ahsoka probably is gonna be 1 season, which is gonna stink. Like not the season, I hope not. But like
no, but like it's gonna stink. It's only gonna be 1 season.
I wanted at least 2 or 3 seasons of Ahsoka. Like
get a live action. Live action Rebels.
Right, like live action Rebels. Like is Starkiller Vader's apprentice gonna be in something? Like probably not, because they're wrapping everything up in the next 4 years. Like and again, I'm making this number up, but like there's no way they announced this movie and it's like, oh, we'll get there. Like, no, let me
see if there's a speculated date, because usually IMDb will put up like a speculated date for just look up date for
2023, December 2023.
Yeah,
it's already done.
It's finished.
Yeah,
go. Oh, it's not even on here at all.
And that doesn't,
because that's producer. I'm sorry.
Well, because I mean, and again, like it was the only movie without a title at that Star Wars convention. Like,
Yeah,
They didn't even
no date or
title it
anything. Just
like
untitled Dave Filoni Star Wars project.
because okay, so Din Djarin's going to be a major character in that definitely, but he can't be the main character. Like,
Yeah,
or they're not going to call it the Mandalorian movie. Like,
yeah. No, it
I
can't. It
don't,
can't.
I couldn't fathom guess what they're going to call it. I could see like the start of the First Order because we talked about that's what this is all leading into. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe the downfall of Thrawn, something along those lines. But like, I don't know. Maybe it's just called Heir to the Empire. Would that really shock you?
they could call it. The third book in that series is called The Last Command. So that could be, Thrawn's final
That's a pretty great movie title.
right? Right.
Star Wars: The Last Command.
I'm calling it now. Star Wars The Last Command.
So wait. I haven't read it. Did you started the
I
book?
started reading Heir to the Empire. It's really good. Really good. I mean
I can't wait.
I'm only like 60 or 70 pages in, but I'm hooked. Like it's good.
Oh, I want to read it so bad.
And
But
it's cool reading Thawne's lines as Lars, like the actor who plays him. Like
yeah,
I'm reading it like as the hello General Syndulla, like like that like
yeah.
quiet like menacing voice, like
That's one of
because
my favorite.
I'm also rewatching Rebels too. I'm doing what you did. I watched the Twilight of the Apprentice episodes, and then I'm watching season 3 on. So
That's what I'm gonna put Rebels on after this tonight because
that's what I'm
I need to
doing
get
now.
back. I
That's what I'm
started season 3, but I think I just watched the first episode.
okay. Yeah.
Um, and the Vader fight.
Yeah. That's a must.
But what was the? You said it was a trilogy. What's the second book called? Do you know?
Yeah. I have it in my Amazon cart. Let me check.
That's what I'm probably just gonna buy Kindle versions of all of them.
It Dark Force Rising is the second one, and then the first one's Heir to the Empire, the second one's Dark Force Rising, the third one's The Last Command.
I gotta say, if
Dark
we're
Force
calling
Rising.
this the First Order's start, Dark Force
Dark Force
Rising is
Rising does
another
sound pretty good too.
pretty
Yeah,
good title.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
either one is like a menacing,
Very
like
good title. Very
yeah.
good evil movie title. For yeah,
I
definitely.
feel like Heir to the Empire they already kind of used in the teaser for Ahsoka, so like I feel like they might not use. I mean, it would be an awesome title, but I feel like they already kind of
I think they're hinting that Heir to the Empire is season 1 of Ahsoka,
yeah.
but what if give us some saving grace here? What if they announced one movie, but they're actually making that whole book series as a trilogy of movies?
That would be awesome.
That would
be amazing.
That would be pretty sweet, and I would be so happy with that.
And I have a theory on a new theory because there's a character in the book that I have a theory that is the orange lightsaber guy from the Ahsoka trailer.
Yeah.
Not an exact copy of the character in the book, but I don't want to spoil it because you want to read it, but
I do want to read it.
But
I'll try to.
It's in the beginning of the book, so you'll like it's
Okay.
in the first 70 pages. So once you start reading, you'll be like, oh, that guy. Okay.
I'll try to get it on fast because I want to talk about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think, but like, not to get back to being negative, but I think the movie, like the overall, I wish this movie hadn't been announced when it was.
Yeah.
Because I think knowing it's in the works impacts. Well, it's impacting what's happening with the show, and it's impacting
so
my overall
pressure.
feeling about it, knowing that like there's this ending on the horizon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I kind of liked about The Mandalorian was I didn't know when the ending was coming because they've said, hey, we're just gonna do it until we don't have anything left.
Yeah, it didn't feel like something that needed to come to an end. Like I was gonna be okay with them being on season 5 and being like, you know what, season 6 is gonna be it. I'm gonna be like, okay, all right, let's do it. Let's. Now I'm like,
now you're putting a cap on it, and it's like, whoa.
You put a cap on it. You see, the season felt like its own cap. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's all.
You can't call it the Mandoverse and not have Mando in it. Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's exactly what it is, though. You called it the Mando. Goddamn Kathleen Kennedy opened her mouth.
You dumb bitch. You dumb bitch. God damn it, T, you dumb bitch.
I don't I don't think there's anyone I can hate more than Kathleen Kennedy. That's not in a sport because
No,
sports people, there's always a rival. Like Ezekiel Elliott is my absolute most hated sports person of all time because he was the running back at Ohio State and then became the running back at Dallas. Like,
yeah,
just the absolute
just
worst human being I've ever not known.
just
Like,
the yeah. I was gonna say the two biggest rivals or the biggest rivals of the teams you love. He played for both of them.
he
It's
played for
just
both of them. Yep.
number one hated player.
But that's besides the sports rivalry. Kathleen Kennedy is the only person who I have no tie to that I'm just like every time I hear her, I'm like, hey, you dumb bitch.
Hey, you dumb bitch.
I really do want to rewatch season 3 probably in a month or so, and like because I do think, and I said it at the beginning, but I think hype kind of spoiled this season, and I don't. Again, I don't think this season was bad, but I just don't think it was. I also think it's fair to say it didn't live up to season 2, and it also didn't live up to having a 2-year hiatus.
No, it and like the putting the reunion of Din and Grogu on Book of Boba Fett really underplayed this season because they should have saved it for season 3. Like, it just would have made so much more sense. It would have made,
I think those episodes were just a mistake at this point. I don't think there's really any other way to put it.
I feel like they were kind of like, well, like the higher ups at Disney. I don't even think it was Filoni and Favreau. They probably had nothing to do with it. It was the higher ups that were like, hey, these guys make us a lot of money. Let's throw them in a show that people probably aren't going to be too thrilled about because they're already obsessed with the Mandalorian. So
yeah, oh man, it's tough. I don't, because like Filoni and Favreau definitely didn't. They also didn't really have a part to play in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's so many hands in the pot.
Yeah,
I really don't think it's any one person's fault.
It's not like Marvel Studios where we can just blame Feige. Like,
right.
There's so many people involved in Star Wars, whether it's Filoni, Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy. There's some other guy.
The directors, they bring in fantastic directors that do their best job, and it just doesn't.
I mean, you got Taika Waititi doing stuff, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Which, by the way, for everything that we fast forwarded through, they fixed IG-11 back.
Oh yeah,
Taika Waititi definitely has a line in there, and it's like, all right, well, I'm glad he's back and healthy and he's the sheriff or whatever. I don't really have anything else to say, man. I think good, not great.
Yeah.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Like these are just, they continue to be how I feel about it even now. Like, especially now, I'm fired up, but I'm still not like pissed off. It's just, damn it.
I'm not mad. Like I said, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Yeah. I mean, that sums it up. That's gonna be the name of the episode.
I think that's a good one, dude. I don't. I would love to hear anyone tell me why. I know my friend Sean loved it. He didn't elaborate. I didn't get it out of him.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get more from him, but he loved it, and I'm like, I'm glad.
More power to you if you loved the ending. If you loved this season, I'm not saying I didn't like the season. I'm saying there were great parts of the season, but there are also some real big stinkers. Like, so it was a roller coaster of a season.
Again, I think it was a roller coaster. I think it didn't live up to the hiatus, and the hype, and that's I think that's my summary of it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Do you goddamn bitch? Yeah, that'll do for episode 33. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend if they like Star Wars, even if they don't like Star Wars. Or if they like
Guardians
Marvel.
of the Galaxy 3 coming.
We got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming. We got Marvel episodes on the way. We got Guardians 3, Loki season 2 comes out at some point. I don't know when. I think over the summer. But yeah. We got plenty more episodes coming your way. And also we're gonna be doing a sequel, Star Wars sequel trilogy episode. So episodes, possibly. We'll figure that out. But
be there for that.
Yeah. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.